Welcome to our channel. Today we will teach you the ultimate guide to knife skills for the home cook. First up is the most important tip of all, safety. We want to ensure that you and your knives stay safe. When working in the kitchen, our chef has some great tips to pass on. Make sure you always use a sharp knife, because dull knives are dangerous. A sharp knife cuts through food easily and cleanly, reducing the chances of slipping. Also, always cut away from yourself and hold your fingers curved while cutting, so that if you do slip, you'll cut into the cutting board rather than your fingers. If you need to hold the food down with your hand, use your fingertips rather than your fingers spread wide. And lastly, keep your knives sharp. You can sharpen your knives using a steel or a honing steel, but we recommend using a sharpener like this one. Chef would also like you to know that the best way to learn how to use a knife properly is to take a hands-on class with an experienced chef. Next up, let's get into the two basic cuts. The first one is the slice. To slice, place the blade near the heel of your hand and slant it upwards at about a 45-degree angle. Then, starting with the ball of your hand on the top of the knife, slide your hand forward towards the tip of the knife. As you gain more control and confidence, you can start to increase the speed and pressure of your cuts. When slicing onions, always slice through the root end first, to prevent the onion from rolling around on your cutting board. The second basic cut is the dice. The dice cut is an essential technique for any home cook to master. To do this, start by cutting the food into small pieces, using the tip of the knife, and then use a rocking motion to cut it into even smaller pieces. We recommend practicing on potatoes or carrots until you feel comfortable. Once you've got the hang of it, you can move on to other foods like celery, onions, and even harder foods like apples or firm tofu. Now that you know the two basic cuts, let's move on to the more advanced techniques. The first one is the Brunoise. This cut is a fancy way of saying finely chopped. To make a Brunoise cut, start by cutting the food into small cubes using the dice method. Then transfer the cut pieces to your cutting board and continue chopping them up until they very finely chopped. This technique is best used for hard vegetables and fruits, like carrots, celery, onions, and apples. The next cut is the Julienne. This is a French cut that involves cutting food into thin strips. To do a Julienne cut, start by cutting the food into thin planks, then stack the planks on top of each other and cut them into thin strips. You can use this technique to cut carrots, zucchini, potatoes, and many other foods. And now we have the Chiffonade. This is a leafy green cut that involves cutting herbs or leaves into thin ribbons. Start by stacking the leaves on top of each other and rolling them up tightly. Then use the tip of your knife to cut the roll into thin strips. Once you've cut the entire roll, unroll it to reveal your finished chiffonade. Now that you know all these different cuts, let's look at some of our favorite recipes that use knife skills. First up is our tomato and cucumber salad. This refreshing salad is perfect for any summer day. To make it, simply dice up some tomatoes and cucumbers, then toss them in a bowl with some olive oil, vinegar, and salt and pepper to taste. Next, try our carrot and celery salad. This is a slightly more advanced recipe that uses both the dice and julienne cuts. To make this salad, start by cutting some carrots and celery into thin strips. Then toss them in a bowl with some olive oil, vinegar, and salt and pepper to taste. For a delicious and satisfying lunch or dinner, try our pasta with roasted vegetables. This recipe uses a variety of different cuts to create a beautiful and flavorful dish. Start by cutting some vegetables like bell peppers, onions, and zucchini into small pieces. Then roast them in the oven until they're tender and slightly caramelized. Next, cook your favorite pasta according to the package directions. Once the pasta is cooked through, toss it in a bowl with the roasted vegetables, some olive oil, vinegar, and salt and pepper to taste. And for dessert, try our fruit salad with honey lime dressing. This salad is both refreshing and delicious, and it's perfect for any special occasion. To make it, start by cutting up your favorite fruits, like pineapple, mango, and papaya into small pieces. Then toss them in a bowl with some olive oil, vinegar, and salt and pepper to taste. Learning how to properly use a knife is an essential skill for any home cook. It may seem daunting at first, but with a little practice and patience, anyone can learn how to dice, slice, and chop like a pro. So grab a knife, a cutting board, and some food and start practicing your knife skills today. Remember to be patient with yourself and take your time. With a little practice, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish with a knife. Happy cooking!